Beverly Hills, California. Summer heat shimmers off marble fountains. Smell of jasmine and fresh-cut grass floats through air worth breathing. Money hangs thick as morning fog over hills where dreams become reality or die trying. Jack Woltz owns this reality. 62 years old, studio mogul, empire builder, net worth $80 million, controls 40% of Hollywood actors through contracts that might as well be chains. 3 United States senators on payroll. $200 million annual revenue from 12 production studios. His mansion sits on 18 acres, 42 rooms, Olympic-sized swimming pool with imported Italian tile, art collection worth $12 million. Rembrandt in dining room, Picasso in study, Van Gogh in bedroom where he sleeps on $10,000 mattress between silk sheets that cost more than average American earns in year. Jack Woltz built this empire from nothing, started as errand boy in 1901, swept floors, fetched coffee, smiled at right people, backstabbed wrong people, climbed ladder one bloody rung at time. Now he stands at top looking down on everyone, especially Italians. Garbage men, he calls them, olive oil peddlers, fruit stand owners pretending to be businessmen. Jack Woltz came from nothing too, but at least he came from good American nothing. Not immigrant nothing, not Italian nothing. This afternoon, Tom Hagen sits across from Woltz in study worth more than most American homes. Hagen is young, 32. Consigliere to Vito Corleone, adopted son of Don. Lawyer trained at Columbia, speaks quietly, respectfully. Dressed in simple suit that cost $200. Nothing compared to Woltz's $1,500 Italian tailored perfection. Tom makes request on behalf of Don Corleone. Simple request. Johnny Fontane, singer and actor, needs lead role in Woltz's new war picture. Production starts in 3 months. Role will revive Johnny's failing career. Bring him back from edge of obscurity that waits for all Hollywood has-beens. Woltz listens, fingers steepled, face neutral, then laughs. Not polite laugh, not diplomatic laugh, real laugh, belly laugh. Laugh that says this request is funniest thing heard all year. No, says Woltz, voice dripping contempt. Tell your godfather I'm not some bookie he can push around. I run this town. Your boss is nobody here. Tom tries again, explains that Don Corleone would consider it personal favor. That friendship with Corleone family has benefits, that Johnny deserves chance. Woltz's face hardens. Johnny Fontane ruined one of my actresses. Young girl with promising career. He seduced her, married her, destroyed her focus, cost me investment. Now Johnny pays price. Tom speaks carefully. Mr. Woltz, Don Corleone rarely asks for favors. When he does, he remembers those who help. Woltz stands, walks to window. 3,000 miles separate his mansion from Vito Corleone's compound in New York. 3,000 miles of desert, plains, mountains. Geography is protection. Distance is shield. What can immigrant in Little Italy do to Hollywood mogul worth $80 million? You tell your boss, says Woltz turning back, that Jack Woltz doesn't bow to thugs. I made Johnny's career 15 years ago. I can destroy it now. Johnny Fontane will never work in this town again. Not in my studio. Not in any studio. I'll make sure every producer knows what happens when you cross me. Pauses. Lets threat hang in air. Your godfather has money? I have power. Real power. Senators, judges, studio heads. That's the difference between us. He's still small time, still thinks muscle and threats work in civilized world. Tom stands. Thank you for your time, Mr. Woltz. Don Corleone will be disappointed to hear your answer. Woltz smirks. Your Don will get over it. Now get out. I have dinner with Governor tonight. Real power moves in circles your family will never reach. Tom leaves, drives away from mansion in rented car. Passes through gates guarded by 4 armed security men. Passes stables where Woltz keeps prize horses. Passes gardens maintained by 20 groundskeepers. Jack Woltz watches car disappear down long driveway, feels satisfaction wash over him. Put that Italian in his place. reminded him that money from garbage collection and illegal gambling doesn't buy respect in Hollywood. Pours himself whiskey, Glenfiddich, 50 years old, $200 per bottle, drinks to his power, to his empire, to 3,000 miles of protection between him and angry immigrant who thinks he runs world. Jack Woltz goes to bed that night confident, secure, untouchable. He has no idea that Vito Corleone is already planning message that will cross 3,000 miles, message that will enter his fortress, message that will destroy most prized possession while he sleeps. He has no idea that geography means nothing, that wealth means nothing, that power means nothing when you insult family of man who built empire on respect and fear in perfect balance. Jack Woltz sleeps peacefully in silk sheets. Tomorrow morning he will wake up to truth. Tomorrow morning he will understand difference between power and reach. Tomorrow morning everything changes. But tonight he dreams of governors and senators and continued reign over Hollywood kingdom that thinks it's untouchable. Tonight he still believes. Distance protects him. Tonight he's wrong. Same evening. Beverly Hills. Sun sets behind mansion like golden curtain closing on stage. Woltz invites Tom Hagen to stay for dinner. Not kindness, power move. Show immigrant lawyer what real wealth looks like. Remind him of distance between their worlds. Dining room seats 40 people. Tonight only 2. Woltz, at head of mahogany table imported from England in 1922, cost $18,000. Tom sits 20 feet away. Servers bring courses on China worth more than Tom's education. Lobster from Maine, beef from Argentina, wine from France that costs $600 per bottle. Woltz talks throughout meal, not conversation, monologue. Story of Jack Woltz, poor kid from Chicago. Started with nothing, worked harder than anyone, smarter than anyone, built empire through vision and ruthlessness in equal measure. Your boss understands business, Woltz says between bites of beef. I respect that, but he doesn't understand Hollywood. This isn't New York. Can't intimidate studio executives like neighborhood shopkeepers. Different rules here. Tom listens quietly, eats little, observes everything. Woltz's arrogance, his need to display wealth, his fundamental misunderstanding of what Vito Corleone actually is. Woltz thinks Don is thug, muscle, violence wearing expensive suit. Tom knows different. Vito Corleone is strategist, builder, man who understands power comes from network, not net worth, from loyalty, not luxury, from respect earned through generations, not bought with senators. After dinner, Woltz leads Tom outside. Night air cool, stars bright above California hills. They walk toward stables, structure bigger than most American homes, climate controlled, veterinary clinic attached. Staff of 12 work full-time caring for Woltz's collection of 12 horses, thoroughbreds, racing champions, combined worth $3 million, but one stands apart. Khartoum. Woltz opens stable door. Floodlights illuminate magnificent animal. Black coat shines like obsidian. Muscles ripple under skin. Height 17 hands. Weight 1,200 pounds. Perfect specimen of breeding and training. Bought him for $600,000, says Woltz, voice full of pride. Fastest horse in America. Maybe fastest horse ever born. Beat Seabiscuit's record. Won 18 consecutive races. Stud fees alone bring me $200,000 annually. Tom studies horse, studies Woltz, studying horse, sees what horse represents, not just investment, not just status symbol, love, real love. Only thing Woltz loves more than power, weakness. Tom files this information away, says nothing, just nods appreciatively. Worth more than everything your godfather owns? Continues Woltz. This horse has pedigree, breeding, class. Things money can't buy, things Italians will never understand. They return to mansion. Woltz pours brandy, Napoleon, 100 years old, $5,000 per bottle, offers Tom glass. Tom accepts, pretends to sip. Woltz drinks deeply. Hollywood is my kingdom, Woltz says. I control who works, who succeeds, who gets destroyed. Johnny Fontane thought he could defy me, thought his talent protected him. Now he learns lesson. Nobody crosses Jack Woltz in this town. Tom sets down glass. Mr. Woltz, I must return to New York tonight. Thank you for hospitality. Don Corleone will hear of your generosity. Woltz smiles. Cold smile. Predator smile. Make sure he hears my message too. Tell him Jack Woltz said no. Tell him geography protects me. Tell him I'm not afraid of Italian gangster 3,000 miles away. Tom nods, leaves mansion, drives to airport, catches midnight flight, lands in New York 7 hours later. Goes straight to Corleone compound. Vito sits in garden. Morning sun filters through olive trees planted 20 years ago. Reminds him of Sicily, of home, of old country where men understood respect, where insults had consequences, where distance meant nothing when honor was at stake. Tom reports everything. Woltz's refusal, his insults, his arrogance, his belief that 3,000 miles protects him from consequences. Vito listens in silence, face neutral, eyes calculating. When Tom finishes, Vito says nothing for full minute, just sits, thinks, plans, finally speaks, voice quiet, controlled, dangerous. This Woltz. He loves his horse? Yes, Don Corleone, very much. Maybe only thing he truly loves. Vito nods slowly. Man who loves nothing but power is dangerous. Man who loves something can be taught. Pauses, looks at Tom. How many guards at his mansion? 4 at gate, 2 patrolling grounds, none at stable. Horse has alarm system, but guards check only on hourly rounds. Vito stands, walks among olive trees, touches leaves, remembers Sicily, remembers lessons learned there. Fear is stronger than love. Message sent clearly needs no repetition. Geography is illusion for those who think walls protect them. Call Luca, says Vito. Tell him I have job. Delicate job. Important job. He leaves tonight for California. Takes 3 men. Rocco, Paulie, someone who knows horses. Veterinarian we use for track. Tom understands immediately. Don Corleone, the horse is worth $600,000. Vito turns, looks at Tom with eyes that built empire. Value is relative. To Woltz, horse is irreplaceable. To me, horse is message, which is worth more. Tom nods, says nothing. Vito continues. Woltz thinks I am thug, thinks I use only violence, thinks I am small time. He will learn. Vito Corleone does not threaten, does not negotiate with those who show disrespect. Vito Corleone teaches, once, clearly, permanently. That afternoon, Luca Brasi receives orders, flies to Los Angeles, rents car, scouts Woltz's mansion, studies guard patterns, watches stable, times routes, plans entry, plans exit, plans message that will wake Jack Woltz to reality he refuses to see. Veterinarian explains what must be done, how to make it quick, how to make it clean, how to make it send message without unnecessary cruelty to animal. Horse is not enemy, horse is messenger. Luca understands, has delivered many messages in his life. This is cleanest, most poetic, most devastating without taking human life. 2 days after Tom Hagen left California, Luca is ready, 3 men with him, tools prepared, route memorized, timing perfect. God's change shift at 2 a.m., 15-minute window where stable is unwatched. Alarm system can be disabled in 90 seconds. Horse can be handled in 3 minutes. Exit takes 2 minutes. Total operation, 6 minutes. Jack Woltz sleeps in his mansion. $10,000 bed, silk sheets, climate control set to perfect temperature. Dreams of empire, dreams of power, dreams of governors and senators, and continued dominance. Has no idea that 3,000 miles means nothing, that walls are illusion. That tonight Vito Corleone reaches across America to deliver a lesson in Italian that even Hollywood mogul will understand. Has no idea that at exactly 2:15 a.m., Luca Brasi will enter his stable, will do what must be done, will leave message that cannot be ignored or misunderstood. Jack Woltz sleeps peacefully, last peaceful sleep of his life. Tomorrow morning, everything changes. Tomorrow morning, he learns difference between wealth and power. Tomorrow morning, he understands what it means to insult Don Corleone. But tonight, he still believes distance protects him. Tonight, he still thinks 3,000 miles is shield. Tonight, he still sleeps like man who has won. Tomorrow, he wakes to truth. Tomorrow, he wakes to blood. Tomorrow, he wakes to message. Delivered in language, even arrogant fool understands. 2 days after Tom Hagen leaves California, Jack Woltz continues life as Hollywood emperor. Breakfast meeting with 2 senators at Beverly Hills Hotel. Discussion of new film censorship laws. Woltz explains what he wants. Senators take notes. They understand who really controls Hollywood. Not studios, not actors. Jack Woltz. Lunch with studio executives. Woltz announces decision on war picture casting. Lead role goes to unknown actor. Someone controllable. Someone grateful. Someone who understands that Jack Woltz makes careers, also destroys them. Johnny Fontane's name mentioned once. Woltz laughs. Everyone laughs with him. Nobody dares disagree. Afternoon, Woltz visits stable. Does this every day. 3 p.m. exactly. Routine never changes. Khartoum waits. Magnificent animal. $600,000 investment, but more than investment. Pride, joy. Only thing Woltz truly loves in world where love is weakness. He feeds horse sugar cubes, 12 cubes, counts each one, brushes black coat until it shines, talks to horse like friend, only friend, tells Khartoum about stupid Italians who think they can intimidate him, about 3,000 miles of protection, about power that cannot be touched. Khartoum eats sugar, doesn't understand, doesn't need to understand, just needs to exist. Symbol of Woltz's superiority, proof that he has reached heights those immigrant garbage collectors never will. Security guard watches from distance, same guard every day. Pete Morrison, 42 years old, former LAPD, makes $200 weekly. Good pay, easy work, walk grounds, check stable on hourly rounds. Nothing ever happens in Beverly Hills. Rich people problems aren't real problems. Woltz finishes with horse, returns to mansion. Cocktail hour. Martini made exactly right. 3 olives, stirred not shaken. Temperature perfect. Everything in Woltz's life is perfect. Controlled, predictable, safe. That same afternoon, 3,000 miles away in New York, Luca Brasi boards flight to Los Angeles. Sits in first class, drinks nothing, eats nothing, just sits, thinks, plans. Luca is simple man, takes orders, executes orders, no questions, no hesitation, no mercy. Vito Corleone gave orders clearly. Deliver message to Jack Woltz, message about respect, message about distance being illusion, message about what happens when you dismiss family as small time. With Luca, 3 men travel. Rocco Lampone, 30 years old, cold eyes, steady hands. Paulie Gatto, 28, strong back, weak brain, good soldier for muscle work. Dr. Anthony Cuneo, veterinarian, 55, works at Corleone racing stables, knows horses better than people, knows how to make death quick, how to make it clean, how to remove head without unnecessary suffering. They arrive Los Angeles at 9 p.m., rent Ford sedan, black, common, forgettable, drive to Beverly Hills, park 3 blocks from Woltz mansion, watch, learn, time. Guards change shift at 10 p.m., 4 guards total, 2 at gate, 2 roaming grounds. Routine is military precise. Every hour, guards check stable, spend 3 minutes inside, check on horses, check alarm system, check locks, then leave. 57 minutes of vulnerability every hour. Luca watches for 6 hours, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Pattern never changes. Guards are professional but complacent. Rich neighborhood, no threats, no enemies. Why worry? Alarm system unstable is basic. Installed 1938. 7 years old. Technology moves fast. System is dated. Wire can be cut. Backup can be disabled. Takes skilled man 90 seconds. Rocco is skilled man. Next day, Thursday, Luca rents room at hotel on Sunset Boulevard, 5 miles from Woltz mansion. Plans operation like military assault. Maps drawn. Timings calculated. Contingencies prepared. Nothing left to chance. Paulie will disable alarm. 90 seconds. Rocco will stand watch. Dr. Cuneo will handle horse. 3 minutes maximum. Luca will supervise. Ensure message sent correctly. Ensure nothing traced back to New York, to Corleone family. They need one thing more. Access to horse's head after. Cannot leave it in stable. Must deliver to Woltz's bedroom. Must place it in his bed. Under silk sheets. Where he will feel it before he sees it. Where blood will soak into expensive fabric. Where message cannot be ignored. This requires entry to mansion. While Woltz sleeps. While guards patrol. While world thinks fortress is impenetrable. Luca studies mansion blueprints. Public records from building permit 1932. 13 years old, but structure unchanged. Bedroom on second floor. East wing. 3 windows. No external alarms on windows. Only motion sensors in hallways. Motion sensors can be avoided by someone who knows timing. Who knows guard routes. Who knows exactly where to step. Thursday evening, Jack Woltz hosts dinner party. 20 guests. Hollywood elite. Actresses, directors, producers. Wine flows. Steaks served. Cigars smoked. Woltz holds court. Tells stories about building empire. About defeating competitors. About controlling industry that thinks it controls itself. One guest mentions Johnny Fontane. Wonders aloud if Woltz will cast him. Room goes quiet. Woltz's face hardens. Sets down cigar. Johnny Fontane, says Woltz slowly, will never work in this town again. Not in my studio. Not in anyone's studio. I made him. I destroyed him. That's what happens when you cross me. Guest apologizes. Changes subject. Dinner continues. But message sent. Jack Woltz does not forgive. Does not forget. Does not bend. In hotel room 5 miles away, Luca Brasi cleans equipment. Wire cutters. Glass cutter. Gloves. Bag for horse head. Large bag. Waterproof. Ice to preserve head during transport. Everything needed for operation scheduled tomorrow night, Friday. 2:15 a.m. 15-minute window when guards are at furthest point from stable. Friday day, Woltz drives to studio. Watches dailies from current production. Approves scenes. Rejects others. Makes decisions worth millions. Returns home at 6 p.m. Light dinner, salmon, white wine, early bed, 10 p.m. Woltz sleeps well, always does. Clear conscience of man who believes he earned everything, who believes power justifies any action. Friday night, 11 p.m., Luca and team drive toward Beverly Hills. Park in residential area 4 blocks away. Walk remaining distance, dressed in black, moving through shadows, invisible, midnight. They reach perimeter of mansion, watch guards, confirm timing. Everything matches surveillance, everything predictable, everything vulnerable. 1 a.m. Guards complete their midnight round, check stable, everything normal, leave, begin patrol of front grounds, back stable unwatched for next 57 minutes. 1:45 a.m. Rocco cuts through fence, small opening, just large enough. They slip through, move toward stable, stay in darkness. Avoid motion sensor near house. Approach stable from blind side. 2 a.m. Paulie disables alarm, cuts wire. Backs up system shorted. 90 seconds exactly as planned. No sound, no alert, no indication that anything is wrong. 2:05 a.m. They enter stable. 12 horses sense presence. Shift nervously. Khartoum is in stall number 7. Largest stall. Best position. Nameplate on door. Khartoum $600,000. Dr. Cuneo approaches. Horse is magnificent even in dim light. Perfect specimen. Shame to destroy beauty, but orders are orders. Message must be sent. Respect must be restored. Cuneo sedates horse first. Large syringe. Powerful drug. Khartoum goes quiet. Lies down. Breathing slows. Sleep before death. Mercy Vito insisted upon. Horse is innocent. Horse is just messenger. 2:12 a.m. Cuneo works quickly. Uses veterinary saw. Clean cut. Professional. 3 minutes. Head separated from body. Placed in waterproof bag. Ice packed around it. Preserved. Fresh. 2:16 a.m. They leave stable. Rocco stays behind. Reconnects alarm. Makes scene look undisturbed except for dead horse. Body covered with blanket. Looks like horse is sleeping. Will not be discovered until morning rounds at 6 a.m. Luca carries bag toward mansion. Heavy bag, 60 pounds. Head of $600,000 horse. Message worth more than gold. 2:20 a.m. Glass cutter on first floor window. Kitchen entrance. Cut. Silent. Window opens. Luca enters alone. Knows route. Memorized blueprints. Up servants' stairs. Second floor. East wing. Woltz's bedroom. 2:28 a.m. Door handle turns. Unlocked. Rich man's arrogance. What threat in Beverly Hills? In mansion with guards? In fortress 3,000 miles from enemies? Luca enters bedroom. Woltz sleeps, breathing deep and regular, oblivious, vulnerable, at mercy of man he does not know. From family he dismissed as small time, Luca pulls back silk sheets, carefully, quietly, places horse head at foot of bed, arranges it properly, pulls sheets back over, not completely, partial cover, so Woltz will feel dampness, will pull sheets back himself, will discover message with his own hands. 2:35 a.m. Luca exits mansion, window closed, no trace, returns to car. Team drives away. 4 a.m. flight to New York. Mission complete, message delivered. Now they wait for Jack Woltz to wake up to blood, to wake up to terror, to wake up to understanding that 3,000 miles means nothing, that wealth means nothing, that power means nothing when you insult Don Vito Corleone. Saturday morning, 6:37 a.m., Beverly Hills. Sun rises over mansion like it rises every morning. Beautiful, indifferent. Nature cares nothing for human drama about to unfold. Jack Woltz sleeps, dreams of power, of senators, of empire that stretches from Atlantic to Pacific. Dreams pleasant, comfortable, safe dreams of man who believes walls protect him. But something interrupts dream, something wet, something cold, something wrong. Woltz shifts in sleep. Hand touches sheet, dampness. His first thought is simple. Did he spill water? Is air conditioning leaking? Must speak to maintenance. Hand moves again. More dampness, spreading dampness. Too much for spilled water. Eyes open, slowly, reluctantly. Room is dim, curtains closed, but enough light to see. Enough light to notice sheets are wrong color. White sheets, always white. Purchased from Italy. Silk. Egyptian cotton blend. 1,500 thread count. But sheets aren't white now. Sheets are red. Woltz sits up. Confusion. Not fear yet. Just confusion. Red? How? Why? Pulls back sheet with right hand. Sees his hand. Covered in red. Sticky red. Thick red. Blood. Heart begins pounding. Blood? Whose blood? His blood. Checks himself. No wounds. No cuts. No pain. Not his blood. Then whose? Woltz pulls back sheet completely. Looks down at foot of bed. Sees something. Something large. Something dark. Something that shouldn't be there. Brain struggles to process. Shape is familiar but impossible. Cannot be what it looks like. Cannot be real. But it is real. Horse head. Khartoum's head. Severed. Clean cut. Professional cut. Eyes still open. Staring at nothing. Mouth slightly open. Tongue visible. Mane matted with blood. $600,000. Fastest horse in America. Woltz's pride. Woltz's joy. Woltz's only love. Dead in his bed. Woltz screams. Not manly scream. Not controlled scream. Animal scream. Terror scream. Scream that comes from Plos, where civilization ends and primal fear begins. Scrambles backward. Falls out of bed. Lands on floor. Silk pajamas soaked in blood. Khartoum's blood. Blood on sheets. Blood on pillows. Blood on hands. Blood everywhere. Crawls away from bed. Away from horror. Away from message he cannot ignore. Reaches wall. Presses back against it. Stares at bed. At head. At reality that broke into fortress while he slept. Mind races. How? How did they enter? How did they reach stable? How did they kill Khartoum? How did they bring head to bedroom? How did they place it in bed without waking him? And most terrifying question, if they could place Horsehead in his bed, what else could they have done? Could have placed bomb, could have placed knife to throat, could have ended him as easily as ended horse, chose not to, chose to send message instead, message more terrifying than death. We can reach you. Walls mean nothing, guards mean nothing, Distance means nothing. Sleep is no protection. Bedroom is no sanctuary. You are vulnerable, always, forever. Woltz vomits. Expensive marble floor. $200 per square foot Italian marble. Covered in vomit and terror. Security guard Pete Morrison hears scream. Runs toward mansion, upstairs, bursts into bedroom. Sees Woltz on floor. Sees blood. Sees horse head. Stops. Cannot move. Cannot process. What the hell? Morrison's voice cracks. Woltz cannot speak. Just points at bed. Hand trembling. Whole body trembling. Morrison approaches bed slowly. Sees head clearly now. Recognition. Oh Jesus. That's Khartoum. That's your horse. How did... Cannot finish question. Answer is obvious. Someone put it there. Someone with access. Someone with skills. Someone with message to deliver. Morrison checks room. Window closed. Door locked from inside. No signs of forced entry. Whoever entered did so without trace. Professional, military-level professional. Call police, says Woltz finally. Voice hoarse from screaming. Call FBI. Call everyone. Morrison hesitates. Mr. Woltz, this is a message. From New York. From that family. If we involve police... Woltz's eyes widen. Realization spreading like blood on sheets. Tom Hagen, Vito Corleone, request for Johnny Fontane, Woltz's refusal, his insults, his arrogance. 3 days ago, just 3 days ago. Woltz called them small time, called them garbage collectors, said 3,000 miles protected him. Now Khartoum is dead. Now blood soaks his bed. Now message is clear. 3,000 miles means nothing. $80 million means nothing. Senators mean nothing. Walls mean nothing. Security means nothing. When you insult Don Vito Corleone, consequences follow. Swift, certain, unavoidable. Woltz stands on shaking legs, looks at Horsehead one more time. $600,000, 18 consecutive victories. Stud fees worth $200,000 annually. Pride of his stables, love of his life, gone, destroyed. Message sent and message received. Don't call police, Woltz whispers. Don't call anyone. Remove it. Clean everything. Tell stable staff Khartoum died of natural causes. Heart attack. Something believable. Morrison stares. You're not going to report this? Woltz laughs. Bitter laugh. Broken laugh. Report what? That mafia reached into my fortress? That my security is worthless? That Jack Woltz can be touched? Shakes head. Get Tom Hagen on phone. New York. Corleone compound. Now. Morrison leaves. Returns 10 minutes later. Phone in hand. Extension cord stretched from hallway. Woltz takes phone. Hands still trembling. Blood still on fingers. Staining white phone. This is Jack Woltz, he says. Voice barely above whisper. On other end, 3,000 miles away, Tom Hagen sits in Corleone's study. Morning sun filters through olive trees. Vito stands nearby, waiting, knowing. Mr. Woltz, says Tom calmly, I trust you received Don Corleone's message? Woltz closes eyes. Message received. Johnny Fontane gets the role, lead role, whatever salary he wants, whatever he wants. Tell Don Corleone. Pauses, swallows pride, swallows arrogance, swallows everything that made him Jack Woltz. Tell Don Corleone, I apologize. Tell him I understand now. Tell him it won't happen again. Tom's voice remains neutral. Don Corleone appreciates your cooperation. He knew you were a reasonable man once you understood situation. Woltz wants to scream, wants to rage, wants to tell them what he thinks, but cannot. Fear is stronger than pride now. Fear of what else they can do. Fear of waking up to worse message next time. Is there anything else Don Corleone requires? Asks Tom. Woltz looks at Horsehead on his bed, at blood-soaking 1,500 thread count sheets, at reality that cannot be denied or dismissed. No, says Woltz quietly, nothing else, just thank him for his mercy. Mercy. Word tastes like ashes, but is accurate. They could have killed him, chose not to. Mercy of brutal men. Mercy that comes with price. Complete submission. Tom hangs up. In New York, Vito nods once, satisfied. Message delivered. message received, respect restored, balance maintained. In Beverly Hills, Jack Woltz sits on bathroom floor, washes blood from hands, watches red water spiral down gold-plated drain, watches pride drain away with it. He is still wealthy, still powerful, still runs studio, still has senators. But now he knows truth. Wealth is not power. Connections are not protection. Geography is not shield. Real power belongs to men who can reach anywhere, who can touch anyone, who send messages that cannot be ignored. Men like Vito Corleone and Jack Woltz, he is just another man who learned lesson. Hard lesson, expensive lesson, lesson written in blood of $600,000 horse. By 9 a.m., stable staff discovers Khartoum's body, covered in blanket, head gone. They know better than to ask questions. They know better than to investigate. They simply remove body, burn it, say nothing. By 10 a.m., sheets are burned, mattress replaced, room cleaned, blood scrubbed away. No evidence remains, except in Jack Woltz's mind, where image of Horsehead will live forever, where terror of that morning will echo through every night, where he will never again sleep without wondering if walls truly protect him, if guards truly watch, if distance truly matters. And every time someone mentions Vito Corleone's name, Jack Woltz will remember, will feel dampness of blood-soaked sheets, will see Khartoum's dead eyes staring, will know that some men should never be insulted, some men should never be dismissed as small time, some men should never be underestimated, because those men, they reach across 3,000 miles, they enter fortresses, they deliver messages that change everything. And Jack Woltz learned that lesson in most brutal, most terrifying, most effective way possible. He woke up to truth, blood-soaked, horrifying, undeniable truth. Don Vito Corleone is not small time, he is omnipresent. Saturday afternoon, 4 hours after phone call to New York, Jack Woltz sits in study, hasn't showered yet, blood still under fingernails, no matter how hard he scrubbed. Remnants of Khartoum, remnants of old life. Study door closed, locked. First time in 13 years, he locks door in own home. Because now he knows. Locks mean nothing. Walls mean nothing. Security means nothing. But still he locks door. Human instinct. Illusion of control when control is gone. Phone rings. Studio executive. Woltz picks up with trembling hand. Mr. Woltz, about Johnny Fontane casting decision. You wanted me to call other studios, blacklist him permanently. Should I proceed? Woltz closes eyes. Remembers blood, remembers Horsehead, remembers terror of understanding how vulnerable he truly is. No, cast Johnny, lead role, war picture, whatever salary he wants. Tell press it was my decision. Creative vision. Always wanted Johnny for part. Silence on other end. But sir, yesterday you said... Yesterday was yesterday. Today is different. Do it. Now. Hangs up. Hands still shaking. Second call. Senator Howard from California. Friend for 12 years. Man Woltz put in office through campaign contributions totaling $200,000. Jack heard disturbing rumors. Something about your horse, your security. Want to talk about it? Woltz wants to tell truth. Wants to explain that mafia reached into his fortress, that geography is illusion, that power is relative, that man 3,000 miles away can destroy anything, anyone, anytime, but cannot. Because admitting this means admitting weakness, means admitting Jack Woltz is not untouchable emperor of Hollywood, is just another man who can be reached, touched, taught. False alarm, Woltz lies. Khartoum had heart condition, died naturally, very sudden. Very tragic. Senator's voice skeptical. Natural causes. In your bedroom. With head removed, Woltz realizes. Servants talk. Security guards talk. Money cannot buy silence when story is this shocking. Everyone knows. Senator knows. Hollywood knows. World knows. Yes, says Woltz quietly. Natural causes. That's official story. Hope you'll support that narrative. Meaning is clear. Please don't ask more questions. Please pretend with me. Please help maintain illusion that Jack Woltz still has dignity. Senator understands subtext. Of course, Jack. Whatever you need, Call if you want to discuss anything. Hangs up, but both men know truth. Senator will distance himself, because power attracts allies. Weakness repels them, and Jack Woltz just demonstrated weakness to entire Hollywood establishment. Third call. Studio head from MGM, competitor, sometimes enemy, always rival. Voice contains something Woltz never heard before. Pity, Jack. Sorry about your horse. Heard it was sudden. Yes, very sudden. Also heard Johnny Fontane got cast, in role you swore he'd never have. Interesting timing. Woltz says nothing. What can he say? Denial is pointless. Everyone knows. Everyone understands. Jack Woltz bent knee. Jack Woltz submitted. Jack Woltz learned lesson. Smart decision. Continues MGM head. Not worth fighting certain battles. Some men should not be crossed, even from 3,000 miles away. Message received. Respect acknowledged. Territory understood. Hollywood now knows. Vito Corleone's reach extends everywhere. His influence penetrates everything. His lessons are permanent. Woltz hangs up without goodbye. Looks around study. $12 million in art. First edition books. Furniture imported from Europe. Proof of success. Symbols of power. But all meaningless. Because this morning he woke up covered in blood. This morning he learned that walls are theater. Security is performance. Power is conditional. By evening, news spreads through Hollywood like wildfire. Jack Woltz cast Johnny Fontane after swearing publicly he never would. After threatening to destroy Johnny's career. After insulting Fontane family connections. Now Johnny has led role. Amazing reversal. Miraculous change of heart. Everyone knows why. Nobody says why. Fear is stronger than truth. Johnny Fontane himself calls Woltz. Voice cautious, grateful, but confused. Mr. Woltz, thank you for opportunity. I won't let you down. Woltz wants to scream. Wants to tell Johnny that gratitude should go to Vito Corleone. To man who reached across America to destroy $600,000 horse. To send message that cannot be ignored. Instead says, just do good work. Make picture successful. I will, Mr. Woltz, I promise. Woltz hangs up. Knows that Johnny will tell everyone. Will tell Vito. Will tell world that Jack Woltz complied. Submitted, surrendered. Sunday morning, Woltz attends church. First time in 7 years. Sits in back pew. Prays to God he stopped believing in decades ago. Prays for protection, for safety, for ability to sleep without seeing horsehead, without feeling dampness, without waking in terror, but knows prayers are useless. God doesn't intervene in affairs of men like Vito Corleone. God is distant. Vito is present. God is abstract. Vito is concrete. God promises afterlife. Vito controls this life. Monday morning. Returns to studio. Employees notice change immediately. Woltz walks differently. Talks differently. Doesn't command. Requests. Doesn't threaten. Suggests. Power dynamic shifted fundamentally. Young actress approaches. Same actress Woltz has abused for months. Pretty girl with talent. Girl Woltz controlled through fear and manipulation. Mr. Woltz, about my contract. I want better terms, better roles, better treatment. Old Woltz would have destroyed her, would have blacklisted, would have ruined career, would have reminded her that Jack Woltz makes and breaks stars. New Woltz hears different voice, Vito Corleone's voice. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Realizes, if Vito can reach him, Vito can reach anyone. If Woltz continues pattern of abuse, continues making enemies, continues acting like untouchable emperor, someone will call New York, someone will ask favor, someone will invoke Corleone name, and next time might not be horsehead, might be his head. Fine, says Woltz, give her better contract, better roles, whatever she wants. Actress stares, shocked, confused, but smart enough not to question. Just nods, leaves quickly before he changes mind. Secretary enters. Mr. Woltz. Several other actors have requested meetings. Contract negotiations. Better terms. Woltz understands. Word spread fast. Jack Woltz is vulnerable. Jack Woltz bent knee to Corleone family. Jack Woltz can be pushed. Schedule meetings. Listen to requests. Be reasonable. Secretary's eyes widen. Sir, you always said negotiating shows weakness. Woltz laughs bitterly. Everything shows weakness now. Might as well be fair weakness instead of cruel weakness. Week passes. Woltz loses 12 pounds, cannot eat, cannot sleep. Every night closes eyes and sees Horsehead. Every night feels dampness. Every night wakes screaming. Hires new security. Triple guards. Install new alarms. Motion sensors everywhere. Cameras on every angle. Fortress within fortress. But knows it's useless, because if they could enter once, can enter again. If they could kill Khartoum, could kill him. If they could place head in bed, could place anything anywhere. Security is theater now, performance for himself. Pretending walls protect when walls are illusion. 2 weeks after incident, Woltz attends Hollywood party, industry event. Everyone important attends. Before, Woltz would hold court, would command attention, would remind everyone who runs Hollywood. Now sits in corner, drinks too much, watches people whisper, knows they're talking about him, about Horsehead, about submission, about fall from power. Young director approaches, confident, ambitious, cruel smile. Mr. Woltz, heard you had interesting week. Horse trouble, they say. Woltz stares, sees mockery in young eyes, sees same arrogance. Woltz showed Tom Hagen 2 weeks ago, wants to warn him, wants to say, be careful who you mock, be careful who you dismiss. Some men should never be underestimated, but says nothing, just nods, walks away. Because Jack Woltz learned lesson, expensive lesson, brutal lesson, permanent lesson, and lesson is simple. In world of real power, wealth means nothing, distance means nothing, walls mean nothing, security means nothing. Only thing that matters is respect. And once you lose respect, once you demonstrate vulnerability, once you wake up covered in blood of thing you love most, everything changes. Hollywood changed. Actors request better terms. Studios encroach on territory. Competitors sense weakness. Empire begins eroding. Not dramatic collapse, slow decay, death by 1,000 cuts. Because everyone knows, Jack Woltz is not emperor anymore, just wealthy man who learned that some men reach everywhere, touch everything, control what they choose to control. And Jack Woltz chose wrong man to insult, wrong family to dismiss, wrong immigrant to call small time, now pays price. Every day, every night, every moment he closes eyes and remembers. Remembers blood, remembers head, remembers terror of understanding how small he really is in world of men like Vito Corleone. 1 month after Horsehead incident, September 1945, Jack Woltz sits in screening room watching dailies. War picture in production. Johnny Fontane stars, lead role, role that was supposed to go to unknown actor Woltz controlled. Johnny is good, better than good, natural on screen, camera loves him, voice perfect for romantic war hero. Audiences will love him, picture will make millions. Woltz watches in silence, should feel anger, should feel resentment, should feel rage that he was forced into this casting, but feels nothing, just empty acceptance. This is reality now. Johnny Fontane works, Jack Woltz complies. Director approaches after screening. Mr. Woltz, Johnny's performance is exceptional. This picture will revive his career. Your instinct was right. Best casting decision you ever made. Woltz nods, says nothing. Lets director believe it was creative vision. Lets Hollywood believe Jack Woltz chose Johnny freely. Better than admitting truth. Better than explaining Horsehead. Better than revealing vulnerability that never fades. That afternoon, Tom Hagen arrives, unannounced. Security guards let him through immediately. No questions, no delays. Because everyone knows now, Corleone family has access. Always, everywhere. Tom sits across from Woltz. Same study where they met 6 weeks ago. Same art on walls, same expensive furniture. But everything different now. Mr. Woltz, Don Corleone sends regards. Hopes you're satisfied with production progress. Woltz looks at Tom. Sees no mockery, no triumph, just business. Professional courtesy between men who understand arrangement. Johnny is excellent. Woltz says carefully. Picture will be successful. Tell Don Corleone his investment in Johnny's career was wise. Tom nods. Don Corleone appreciates your cooperation. He considers matter closed. No hard feelings, just business. Woltz wants to laugh. No hard feelings. Horsehead in bed is hard feeling. Blood on silk sheets is hard feeling. Terror that never fades is hard feeling, but says, of course, just business. Tell Don Corleone if he ever needs assistance in Hollywood, he should contact me directly. I understand value of friendship now. Tom stands, shakes Woltz's hand. Grip firm but not threatening. Message clear. Past is past. Future is cooperation, as long as Woltz remembers lesson. After Tom leaves, Woltz pours whiskey. Drinks straight. No ice, no water. Burns going down. Good burn. Reminds him he's alive. Reminds him he survived. Reminds him that submission is better than alternative. October 1945. War Picture wraps production. 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Johnny Fontane delivers performance of lifetime. Critics who see early screenings predict Oscar nomination. Comeback story. From washed-up singer to movie star. Thanks to Jack Woltz's belief in him, that's official narrative. Woltz tells it repeatedly. Dinner parties, industry events, trade publications. Says he always saw potential in Johnny. Says casting was creative instinct. Says supporting talent is what great producers do. Nobody contradicts him, but everybody knows. Jack Woltz didn't support Johnny from kindness. Supported because Vito Corleone sent message. Message written in blood. Message that cannot be ignored or forgotten. November 1945. Johnny Fontane visits Woltz's office. Brings flowers. Expensive flowers. $200 worth. Gratitude offering. Mr. Woltz, I want to thank you personally. You saved my career. I'll never forget this. Woltz looks at Johnny. Sees genuine gratitude. Johnny doesn't know about Horsehead. Doesn't know about terror. Doesn't know that Woltz had no choice. Just knows that powerful producer gave him second chance. You earned it, Johnny. Your talent did this. Not me. But both know that's lie. Talent didn't cast Johnny. Fear cast Johnny. Vito Corleone cast Johnny. Jack Woltz just signed papers. Johnny leaves. Woltz sits alone. Realizes something. He did right thing. Not from choice. From force. But result is same. Johnny got deserved opportunity. Woltz's cruelty was stopped. Justice happened through violence. Disturbing realization. Maybe Vito Corleone was right. Maybe Woltz was wrong. Maybe powerful men need stronger men to check them. December 1945. War Picture releases. Opens in 200 theaters nationwide. Reviews are spectacular. Audiences love it. Box office exceeds projections by 40%. Johnny Fontane becomes star again. Bigger than before. More mature. More respected. Studio executives congratulate Woltz. Brilliant casting. Brilliant production. Brilliant leadership. Woltz accepts congratulations. Pretends it was his vision all along. But at night, alone in bedroom, that he moved to different wing of mansion because cannot sleep in room where Horsehead appeared, he knows truth. Success came from submission. Profit came from fear. Triumph came from understanding that some battles cannot be won. Only survived. January 1946. Award season. Johnny Fontane nominated for Golden Globe. Not Oscar yet, but stepping stone. Redemption story captures Hollywood imagination. Has been who became hero again. Johnny thanks Jack Woltz in every interview. Calls him visionary. Calls him supporter. Calls him mentor. Builds Woltz's reputation as man who gives second chances. Irony is thick. Woltz destroyed careers for decades. Blacklisted actors for minor slights. Ruined lives because he could. Now celebrated as generous mentor because he cast one actor under threat of death. But Woltz accepts praise. Better than alternative. Better than Hollywood knowing he was forced. Better than admitting weakness publicly. February 1946. Young actress visits Woltz. Same actress who asked for better contract 4 months ago. After Horsehead. After Woltz started saying yes instead of no. Mr. Woltz, I'm pregnant. Need time off. Need support. Old Woltz would have destroyed her. would have forced her to choose between career and child, would have made example. New Woltz says, "Take whatever time you need. Studio will support you. Your job is safe." She cries, thanks him, leaves grateful. Woltz sits in empty office, realizes he's changed, not from goodness, from fear, but change is change. Results matter more than motivation. March 1946. 6 months after Horsehead, Woltz looks at financial reports. Studio is thriving. Johnny Fontane picture made $8 million. Biggest hit of year. Actors are happier. Productions run smoother. Fewer threats. More cooperation. Turns out ruling through fear and cruelty wasn't most profitable method. Ruling through strategic cooperation works better. Lesson Vito Corleone knew all along. Woltz learned it through Horsehead, through blood, through terror that woke him at 3 a.m. for 6 months straight, but learned it. That evening, Woltz writes letter. First draft, second draft, 10th draft, finally settles on words. Don Corleone, I want to thank you for teaching me valuable lesson. Your method was harsh, but effective. I'm better man now, better producer, better person. If you ever need anything in Hollywood, I'm at your service. Respectfully, Jack Woltz. Never sends letter. Too dangerous to acknowledge lesson in writing, but keeps it in desk drawer. Reminder. Lesson he paid $600,000 to learn. Lesson written in blood of magnificent horse. Lesson that changed everything. April 1946. Woltz hosts dinner party, 50 guests, Hollywood elite. During dinner, someone mentions Corleone family, New York mafia, growing influence. Woltz speaks carefully, measured words, strategic words. The Corleones are businessmen, smart businessmen, worth knowing, worth respecting. Room goes quiet. Everyone remembers 6 months ago. Woltz's different stance, his dismissal of Italians, his arrogance about distance, now speaks of them with respect, with caution, with understanding that geography means nothing to men with reach. Message received by everyone present. Don't cross Corleones, not in New York, not anywhere. Jack Woltz learned that lesson. Learned from his example, May 1946. 1 year since Tom Hagen first visited. 1 year since Woltz said no. 9 months since Horsehead. Life continues. Studio thrives. Woltz survives, but changed. Fundamentally changed. Sleeps in different bedroom. Checks security obsessively. Treats people better. Makes fewer enemies. Understands that power is relative and walls are illusion. Most importantly, never speaks ill of Vito Corleone again. Never dismisses Italians. Never assumes geography protects. Never forgets that some men should be respected, not from love, from intelligent fear. Jack Woltz received education, expensive education, brutal education, but effective education, and like all good students, applies lesson daily. For rest of life, because alternative is unthinkable. Better to live in fear and prosper than die in arrogance. Better to submit and survive than resist and suffer. Lesson of Horsehead. Lesson Jack Woltz teaches everyone through his example. Lesson that defines how Hollywood relates to Corleone family for generations. Don Vito Corleone wanted respect, got respect. Through one horse, one night, one message that crossed 3,000 miles and changed everything. 10 years after Horsehead, Jack Woltz is 72 years old now, still runs studio, still wealthy, still powerful on paper, but fundamentally changed man, sits in same study where Tom Hagen visited decade ago. Same art, same furniture, but different Woltz, older, wiser, scarred by lesson that never fades. Young producer enters, nephew, 28 years old, ambitious, arrogant. Reminds Woltz of himself at that age. Before lesson, before blood, before understanding. Uncle Jack, says nephew, I have problem. Some Italian from New York wants favor, wants his actor cast in my picture, but actor is wrong for role. I'm going to refuse. Woltz looks up slowly. Which Italian? Nephew checks notes. Michael Corleone. Represents his family's interests in Hollywood now. sent lawyer to negotiate, but I won't be pushed around by gangsters. Woltz's blood runs cold. Corleone. That name, that family. 10 years haven't erased memory, never will. Cast the actor, says Woltz immediately. Whatever role they want, whatever terms they request. Nephew stares. But Uncle Jack, you always taught me never to show weakness, never to negotiate with criminals. Woltz stands, walks to window, same window where he stood 10 years ago, thinking distance protected him, knowing better now. I taught you wrong, says Woltz quietly. Some men should never be crossed. Some families have reached beyond geography. Some lessons cost $600,000 to learn. You learned free by listening to me now. Pauses. Turns back to nephew. Corleone family is not criminal organization in traditional sense. They are power structure, invisible network that spans continent. When they ask favor, it's not request. It's information about how things will be. You can comply easily or comply after suffering, but you will comply. Nephew looks confused, but we have lawyers, security, police connections. Woltz laughs, bitter laugh. 10 years of bitterness compressed into one sound. I had all that, plus senators, plus 3,000 miles of distance, plus fortress worth millions. None of it mattered, none of it protected, none of it saved my horse. What horse? Woltz sits, tells story, horse head, blood, terror, submission, transformation. Nephew listens with growing horror and understanding. Cast their actor, repeats Woltz. Then send bottle of finest wine to Michael Corleone with note thanking him for opportunity. Make friend, not enemy. Learn lesson I paid dearly to teach you free. Nephew nods, leaves shaken. Woltz sits alone, remembers. Hollywood learned same lesson over 10 years, through Woltz's example, through whispered stories, through understanding that Corleone name carries weight that transcends geography. Other studios experience similar lessons, not always horseheads, sometimes different messages, sometimes financial, sometimes political, sometimes personal, but always effective, always permanent, always teaching respect. By 1955, Corleone family has more power in Hollywood than any studio head. Not official power, shadow power. Power that comes from understanding that geographic boundaries are illusions, that wealth without reach is vulnerability, that walls are theater and security is performance. Vito Corleone never visits Hollywood, never needs to. Sent one message 10 years ago. That message still echoes, still teaches, still controls. Johnny Fontane became massive star, not just from that first war picture, from subsequent roles, from opportunities that opened after Woltz's casting. Career Vito saved with one horse head became legend, proving Corleone power. Johnny knows what he owes, visits Vito twice yearly, brings gifts, shows respect, tells everyone that Don Corleone is greatest man he knows, not from obligation, from gratitude, from understanding that Vito saved him when Hollywood system tried to destroy him. Other actors learn. When Corleone family recommends someone, studios cast them. When Corleone family suggests storyline, studios develop it. When Corleone family wants something, Hollywood provides, not from violence, from memory of what happens when they refuse. Jack Woltz becomes cautionary tale, warning story told in quiet conversations. Rich man who thought distance protected him. Powerful man who learned that some men reach everywhere. Arrogant fool who woke up covered in blood of thing he loved most. Nobody mocks story, nobody dismisses it, because everyone knows it's true, because Jack Woltz tells it himself now. Warning to younger generation, teaching respect he learned too late. Woltz's mansion still stands, same 42 rooms, same art collection, same Olympic pool, but different bedroom, changed after Horsehead. Cannot sleep in room where message was delivered, where blood-soaked sheets, where terror became permanent resident, stable rebuilt, never restocked with horses. Woltz cannot look at horses without seeing Khartoum, without remembering, without feeling dampness, so stable sits empty, monument to lesson learned. Reminder that love is vulnerability when powerful men notice. By 1960, 15 years after incident, Jack Woltz rarely leaves home. Studio runs itself. Nephew handles daily operations. Woltz just signs papers, collects profits. Lives in shadow of message, sent 15 years ago. Interviews occasionally for trade publications. Always mentions respect. Always talks about understanding power. Never mentions Horsehead directly. But everyone knows what he's referencing. Everyone understands subtext. Hollywood is collaborative business, Woltz says in 1960 interview. Requires respecting all partners, including those from New York, especially those from New York. Geographic distance means nothing in modern age. Smart producers understand this. Foolish producers learn painfully. Interviewer asks if he's referring to specific incident. Woltz smiles, sad smile, knowing smile. No specific incident, just general wisdom accumulated over long career. But everyone knows, everyone understands. Jack Woltz is living testament to Vito Corleone's reach, to power of one message delivered perfectly, to lesson that echoes through decades, 19 years after Horsehead. Vito Corleone dies, natural causes, old age, surrounded by family and garden he loved. Peaceful death for man who controlled violence better than anyone. Hollywood sends representatives to funeral, studio heads, actors, directors, including Jack Woltz. 81 years old now, frail, walking with cane. Woltz stands before Vito's casket, looks at dead Don, man who taught him everything important, man who reached 3,000 miles to destroy pride and rebuild understanding. "Thank you," whispers Woltz. Nobody hears except Woltz himself. "Thank you for teaching me, for not killing me, for showing mercy even while delivering terror. You were right. I was wrong. I learned." Returns to California, dies 6 months later. Heart attack. Peaceful in sleep. Finally, after 19 years of nightmares about horseheads and blood and dampness, finally rests. Obituaries mention his contributions to Hollywood, his success, his wealth, his influence spanning 4 decades. But Hollywood remembers different legacy, remembers Jack Woltz as man who learned that some people should be respected. That geographic distance is illusion, that wealth without wisdom is vulnerability. Remembers him as man who woke up to Horsehead and changed everything. And lesson continues. Michael Corleone takes over family after Vito's death, expands empire, extends reach. Hollywood learns quickly, new dawn, same respect, same network, same consequences for disrespect. By 1970s, Corleone family is permanent fixture in Hollywood power structure. Not through violence, through memory of what happens when they're disrespected, through story of Jack Woltz told in whispers and warnings. Final truth is simple and undeniable. Jack Woltz dismissed Vito Corleone as small time, called him garbage collector, said 3,000 miles protected him, believed wealth equaled power, believed walls equaled security, believed distance equaled safety. He was wrong about everything. And one morning in 1945, he woke up to truth, blood-soaked, horrifying, permanent truth. Vito Corleone wasn't small time, was architect, builder, strategist who understood that real power comes from network, not net worth. From loyalty, not luxury. From respect earned through generations, not bought with senators. And when Hollywood mogul worth $80 million insulted immigrant worth, fraction of that, immigrant reached across America, entered fortress, delivered message, changed reality. With one horse head, Vito Corleone controlled Hollywood for 30 years. One message, one night, one lesson that never faded. That's power, real power. Power that doesn't need walls or distance or wealth to protect it. Power that exists everywhere, touches everyone, teaches permanently. Jack Woltz learned, Hollywood learned, generations learned, and lesson is simple. Don't mock men like Vito Corleone. Don't dismiss families like the Corleones. Don't assume geography protects you, because some men reach everywhere, touch everything, control what they choose through network invisible and unbreakable. And when you wake up covered in blood of thing you love most, you'll understand what Jack Woltz understood too late. Respect isn't given, it's demanded. and Vito Corleone demanded it, with one severed head placed perfectly in bed, of man who thought himself untouchable. Geography means nothing. Wealth means nothing. Walls mean nothing. Only respect matters. And once you learn that lesson, you never forget. Jack Woltz never forgot. Hollywood never forgot. World never forgot. That's legacy of Horsehead. That's power of one message. That's genius of Don Vito Corleone.